What's good, TikTok, YouTube? I'm gonna start y'all up in about a minute or two. I gotta set up a couple extra things because I'm realizing that there's now more intricacies with with everything here. There's a lot more intricacies. We had to do customization. We had to do a bunch of things there. But TikTok, send in your questions. We're gonna go live on YouTube in about a minute or two. So go ahead and send your questions. Send everything you want to do. Okay. So where do I click on certain things? Vancouver fumbled the that bag last night. I'm glad. I'm not gonna cheer for Vancouver. They beat Miami. I'm gonna go on full on hater mode with that. You best believe I was not gonna be cheering for Vancouver. Get out of here. Sorry, Vancouver. Oh my God, y'all completely fumbled the bag. Ayo, YouTube, patience with me. I'm gonna put y'all live in just a sec. All right. Yeah. How about do we do 10 super chats? All right, let's just do 20 super chats as I go here. How will I celebrate? Shout out. Okay. All right, YouTube, we're about to start soon. I am from Miami. I just don't live in Miami right now in life. Okay. All right. I think we're good to go live. All right, YouTube, what's up? Oh, wrong page. We want to talk about all these other games instead. Dímelo, mi gente. Let's talk about, like, this could also just be straight up a soccer show today. Straight up, okay? Ask questions, anything you want to ask about. We got mostly soccer to talk about today. Not really travel, not really Club World Cup. Well, sort of Club World Cup, actually. And World Cup. I mean, we got eliminatorias coming up. We got a bunch of things happening this week. I'm going to Barranquilla, Colombia, para ver Colombia, Peru. All right, Colombia, Peru this Friday. Your boy is going to be in the building in Barranquilla. So I'm getting ready for that. I want to quickly shout out Absolute Sport for hosting me in Barranquilla. All right, so if you want to go ahead and purchase your travel package, I cannot stress this enough. It is a travel package. It ain't just tickets. Okay, it ain't just tickets. It's a travel package. Your hotel, your game day transit, your breakfast, all that other items included. If you're interested in that package for next summer, right? If you're interested in one of those packages for next summer, hit your boy up, all right? Or if si estás en Colombia y estás interesado en los paquetes de viaje, de deporte para la CL, para ir para el próximo verano, aquí será en los Estados Unidos, Canadá, México. Les puedo conectar directamente con la oficina de Absolute Sport Colombia para darles más información. I'm not in Colombia right now. Okay, I'm not in Colombia right now. I'm getting ready for my trip to Colombia, so I'm happy to talk about my trip preparations for that as well. Okay, but yeah, I'm super excited what's coming up this week. I mean, we also got the Monterrey trip, which is me basically coming back from Colombia and then going straight to Monterrey for that site visit that I'm going to be doing with the Monterrey World Cup local organizing committee. So it's going to be all fantastic. Yo, comments, drop your comments. What did you think of all of these demolition jobs that we just saw this weekend? PSG completely annihilating Inter. Like, that was over in 20 minutes. It was insane how that was. And I'm not really going to bore y'all with my takes. I want to hear y'all's takes. Because, I mean, there's going to be plenty of shows that are going to take care of that. And they do a very good job at that. I thought, I mean, just how, my quick 2 cents on that game was that PSG's relentless press and their ability to move the ball from their own goal line. I think it was the third goal where they literally moved the ball from their own goal line all the way to the other, like to score on Inter for that 3-0, I think it was. It was just insane to see that. Luis Enrique definitely built the machine there without Messi, without Mbappe, without Neymar. I mean, that was very effing impressive, just to say the least. But let me know in the comments, chat, what you thought of that game. Yeah, I mean, now can we put PSG as favorites to win the Club World Cup? Maybe. I think that there's something to think about though. Will Luis Enrique just rest his starters? You know, yeah, Luis Enrique can discipline. That's true. But I do think I'm still going to be bullish on my prediction that the Sounders get out of that group because now that PSG won this Champions League, are they really going to go ahead 3-week turnaround and go at it for this tournament? I highly doubt it. Now, having said that, they're young guns. They got some young kids, man. They got some young kids that can also play and ball. So that's probably the way that PSG would make a deep run in the Club World Cup. But I still think PSG is going to rest their starters and not really push to that level because they made it far. Can we see a Real Madrid now make a run because they didn't really have that good of a season? Yeah, actually, funny enough, Real Madrid could be now all of a sudden a favorite. Bayern, I actually picked Bayern, by the way, to win the Club World Cup. I picked Bayern. And if you want to join me, I actually haven't announced it in a while or re-announced it in a while. I do have the knockout table predictor on FIFA's website, and I have a group there, and I have a prize of you guys could win the FIFA Club World Cup ball if FIFA would hook it up, please. That would be great. I'd have to pay $50. But live on YouTube, make sure that you hit that arrow target at the top or on the chat button. You can go ahead and give me a dono either for a cup of coffee or for some Colombian snacks because I'm going to be going to Barranquilla, this Thursday through Saturday. Watch Colombia, Peru in Barranquilla. So yeah. If you want to hook it up with a dono, go ahead and do so. That'd be much appreciated. TikTok, if you're watching here on TikTok, go ahead and join us over on YouTube because that's where we need the monetization hours. We're about to get there, man. We're over 3,350 watch hours. 3,350 watch hours. We're over that number now. We're tantalizingly close from getting to 4,000. And remember, I am going to be doing a live stream from Barranquilla, from the hotel where Absolute Sport has put me in, as part of this hosting for this game this Friday, Colombia, Peru. I will do a live from over there. I just got to figure it out with the phone. I got to figure it out with the phone because I'm not taking my laptop. I'm not going to take all my equipment there to Barranquilla. So I got to figure out how to be able to pull off that live there. But, look, that PSG completely dominated the Champions League. I wouldn't have been surprised if PSG would have won the game. I think I was just surprised by the result and the way that they indeed did it. So that's one. Other demolition games, Cruz Azul. Woo, Vancouver. Hey, Vancouver, y'all thought I was going to cheer for y'all after you knocked me out? No, because we're petty as hell like that in Miami, Bobby. Damn, all that hype for a 5-0 beatdown, y'all? Come on. Y'all should have just let us go through. We would have taken care of business, no problem. Shoot, but y'all had to play Champions League level on us. You just couldn't let Miami through, huh? That's what happens. I phoned it in too. I phoned that in too, Vancouver. Don't you forget. Damn. Look, I tuned into the game. And it was like, what, a 2-0, 3-0? They scored a goal like 30 seconds. I tuned that right off. So that's really all the thoughts I have on that game. It's straight up garbage performance by Vancouver for you to get all the way there. You overcame into Miami, and for y'all to lay that egg was insane. Is it possible that is speaking to something about, the fact that these tournaments are long, that the seasons are long, there's a lot of games, and that one of these teams just ends up not showing up? Totally possible that is the case. But yeah, no, Vancouver, y'all needed to do something a lot better than that. I mean, to say the least. Really, that's all the thoughts I had on that game. And Inter Miami, demolition job on Columbus. I really enjoy whenever Inter Miami beats Columbus, only because Columbus kept complaining about Inter Miami being in the Club World Cup, and then they proceeded to do absolutely jack squat to prove FIFA otherwise that they should have been picked instead of Inter Miami. So, I'm glad Inter Miami did the 5-1. I'm glad Messi kept the bulletin board material. What was it? He did a brace of assists and goals. Man, this guy was out on a mission. So, drop your comments if you have any other commentary on these games. Anything else that you want to talk about over the weekend? Because I kind of really want to talk more about Colombia, la eliminatorias. I'm really, trying to draw out here the best case scenarios for Colombia in terms of like what results they should hopefully anticipate for. Because that's really what we're looking at right here. So yeah, I really want to dive in more so into the eliminatorias, but happy to answer your questions now. Again, YouTube, you do have that target button at the top. If you want to drop a dono, any amount is appreciated. Over here, TikTok, you got some questions. Will Miami poor form affect prices for seeing games out of schedule? I mean, we already had the home opener between Inter Miami and Al Ahly be at $53. Those things were like over $400, $500 if I'm not mistaken, earlier this year. So absolutely, the form has affected a bit the pricing, but I would say more so just the fact that the prices were just simply set too high, and now FIFA's desperately trying to recoup those losses for those tickets. We will not have any update on World Cup tickets until after the Club World Cup. Okay? We will not, again, I repeat that, and this is coming straight from Gianni Infantino. We are not going to have an update on on World Cup tickets until after the Club World Cup. So ain't no point asking about World Cup tickets. Okay? Infantino has his eyes set on the success of the Club World Cup, and so they're not going to release any information about World Cup until after. Isaiah, I went to the LAFC America. It was definitely worth it as an LAFC fan. Hey, man, look, the only reason why I was kind of saying it was because of the potential high resale price, right? But if you had a great time, man, who am I to tell you not to, you know? I hope you didn't spend a lot of money, but, you know, as it happens, look, you had this experience where LAFC, you only paid, you paid $150? All right. Hey, you had the money, man. Good, kudos to you. You got to see LAFC beat Club America, which I'm sure a lot of y'all celebrating, obviously, because now y'all in the Club World Cup. Hopefully, y'all will get your money. If y'all sell those shirts that the Sounders players were wearing, it looks like they haven't gotten any money yet. So, yeah, hopefully MLS does right and gives this money out because, I mean, again, we're putting more stress onto these players, physically and mentally with these games. It's just absolutely, like, not necessary to do that. Am I going to watch the Gold Cup? That's the one tournament I have not really bothered to talk about. I mean, if it's on the television, sure, I'll watch it, if I have the time, if I have the space to do it. I think that this is just definitely really been such a weird tournament to cover because it seems to be in the way of everything else that everyone else wants to do. Remember, I think it was last year they were saying this Gold Cup is going to be like a bigger Confederations Cup, right? They're going to bring Colombia. But then if you looked at the schedule, right, and look, and here on the screen on YouTube, this is the schedule, okay, of match day 15, match day 16 for La Conmebol Eliminatorias, okay, coming up. And it was going to be impossible to bring Colombia and Uruguay, because I think those were the two teams that were rumored that were going to come to the Gold Cup, this supposed expanded Gold Cup. It was going to be practically impossible to bring Colombia and Uruguay into this supposed expanded Gold Cup when these two teams still are fighting for qualification. I mean, if you look, these are the games for match day 15 and 16. If you look at the table, I mean, it is a battle royale that we have not seen in a long time. It is very helpful that the top 6 do make it. 7th place gets the playoff, the repechaje. But honestly, if this was set back to the old rules of 32 teams, Colombia would be out right now by 1 point, which would be very, it really changes your perspective on things. Because right now, Colombia seems like they're kind of coasting. Yes, they have dropped in form in the last couple of games. As you've seen here, they've lost 3 of the last 5, only won 1 game. So it's not really been a good time for Colombia, but rather, what was it? No, excuse me. They didn't win the last game. Excuse me. It's going this way. They drew their last game even though they were up 2-0. So they have not won in their last 4 games. But if you ask Colombia, right? If you're at the beginning of the campaign, hey, you probably only need 4 points in the last 4 games to make it through. And the 2 home games that you have is home to Peru, who is currently in 9th place, excuse me. And then the last home game is against Bolivia in September, who is currently fighting for that repechaje spot, you fucking take that. Like there's no, like you take that, right? It's like that's why these eliminatorias are so difficult, because it's a hell of a marathon that you gotta run, right? This takes time, and you're gonna inevitably hit that drop in form just because of how exhaustingly long this process. Like with Brazil had hit their slump. They got the Chile and Peru games that boosted them back up into mid-table here, at least, right? So I think Colombia right now, right? If we're gonna go ahead and switch over to I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to talking about the Colombian eliminatorias here, or the Conmebol eliminatorias, excuse me. So if you take a quick look here, okay, we are seeing that in terms of the table, all right. So let's take a quick look at the table here. So we have Argentina with 31. I mean, they're practically in. There's 12 points left on the board, and the sixth place is the last automatic spot, which is why they're not automatically in yet. They play at Chile, which you would assume they're going to get the points. So Thursday, these are the Thursday games here, okay? So these games here, Brazil, Ecuador might not really be that important for Colombia's purposes, because, I mean, they're still here. That's not going to be too important. Uruguay, Paraguay is not really that important either. The Chile-Argentina game is only going to be important for Argentina to clinch qualification, okay? So Argentina clinches qualification. That's going to be 34 points. And ojo, okay, they might just even need one, all right? But ojo with that result, because that's going to help potentially Colombia on match day 16. We'll see why in a second. So really, the two biggest results from match day 15 is going to be that Colombia-Peru game on June 6th and Venezuela-Bolivia. Venezuela-Bolivia is your classic six-pointer. That's your classic six-pointer, okay? Because let's talk about Venezuela-Bolivia first, even though they're the last game on the night. And I know that after that match contra Peru, I'm sure a lot of Colombians are going to go, we're going to hopefully celebrate a win, hopefully. But I know that many of us are going to go back to watch the next game on television, because that is going to really be important, a super important game to watch. You assume Venezuela wins that game. You assume Colombia wins that game, right? So that's going to take us to 23 points para Colombia, 18 para Venezuela. And it still keeps Bolivia at 14, right? So that would be the predicted, or the expected results from match day 15 para Colombia, para Bolivia, para Peru, para Venezuela, okay? We move on to match day 16, which is next Tuesday. So tomorrow, 1 week, okay? Bolivia's playing at home against Chile, okay? So you would assume Bolivia wins that game because they're playing in their home stadium in the altitude. You assume that. Venezuela goes away to Uruguay. Is it possible that Uruguay clinches qualification at that point? Because then if we look at Uruguay's last game, they're playing away to Paraguay. That's a tough, dicey game. I could see a draw. I could see even a loss by Uruguay. And then they're going to be extremely motivated to beat Venezuela, because if, say they get the point versus Paraguay, okay, away, 22, and they beat Venezuela, that's 25. If Venezuela stays at 18 and Colombia manages to get a point, because then now you see the game Colombia has to do, right, is at Argentina. Well, Argentina could clinch qualification in their previous game away at Chile. They might not play all their starters, right? They might put Messi in the second half or something like that, kind of like to celebrate them, right, that they've qualified. That could happen, right? But if Colombia manages a draw, right, in Argentina, Venezuela is beaten by Uruguay, which Uruguay would then clinch their World Cup qualification, because then there's only 6 points left on the board, right? With Venezuela staying stuck at 18, Colombia has 24. They would have at least, and regardless of the Bolivia-Chile result, they would have at least clinched non-elimination on this round. They can still potentially fall to repechaje, right, if they fumble the bag in the last two games. But again, the last two games for Colombia are at home to Bolivia and away to Venezuela. So para Colombia, the Bolivia game becomes, Well, we got to win that game in order to secure the qualification, and we don't give a damn what happens in the Venezuela game. Bolivia is going to have to risk winning that game in order to keep up with Venezuela, right? So if Venezuela wins their match day 15 game versus Bolivia, that highly increases the chances for Venezuela to make it. Bolivia would need to run the table, and as you can see here, Bolivia would have to go to Colombia and then play at home to Brazil. They have the much difficult games than Venezuela, realistically. Even though Venezuela does have to go to Argentina, but again, Argentina's done. Maybe Argentina wants Venezuela to go in, who knows? And then Venezuela has to host Colombia, which is still not an easy game for Venezuela, right? But at least it's possible for Venezuela to clinch the repechaje. But really, Colombia needs to get the 4 points here. They need to win contra Peru on Friday. Tiene que ganarle a Perú para conseguir los 23 puntos. Okay? Empatarle a Argentina to get 24. Okay? And then, if Venezuela wins their game, okay, if they beat Bolivia and then lose to Uruguay, they will have 18. So Colombia will have 24. Venezuela 18, and if Bolivia loses one of their 2 games in this match fixture, they cannot catch. Colombia is ahead of Bolivia. Bolivia cannot catch up to at least to Colombia. It depends on the other results. At least Colombia will not be eliminated in this round. They can still fall to repechaje if they lose their last 2 games at home to Bolivia, away to Venezuela. But you would assume that Colombia would be able to at least get the job done, get another point in those 2 games, and be safe and sound for 2026. So, Colombia's mission this match week is to win at home versus Peru, get the point at minimum in Argentina. If they get the win, they're in. If Colombia can run the 6 points, they're in, right? Unless Venezuela also keeps up with them and beats Uruguay on the road, then they're not in, right? But if Colombia can win both games, I know the one against Argentina seems very hard, but again, Argentina might have clinched World Cup qualification versus Chile, so they don't really need to fight Colombia that hard, right? Then if Colombia is able to win that game at Argentina, then they can clinch qualification pending the Venezuela-Uruguay game on Tuesday, June 10th. So it is possible, folks, that we might still see that Bolivia game, okay, el partido entre Colombia y Bolivia, September 9th, that might be the clinching game for Colombia, okay? So maybe y'all want to go to Colombia to go celebrate that victory. Again, that would be versus Bolivia match day 17. It is absolutely crazy that we have yet to have anyone qualify yet from South America. Argentina could be the first one this Thursday, and then everyone else might start falling in line. But again, that Venezuela-Bolivia game is going to be so important. Do you think Ecuador could qualify this round? And drop your questions in, okay? Let's take a look here. And again, I'm live streaming on YouTube, so go if you want to go ahead and check out the table and everything, you can go ahead and do so. Mira, Ecuador is hosting Brazil on match day 15. If they're able to beat Brazil, that's 26 points. And 26 points with 9 points to go. That almost puts them in the door. That practically puts them in the door. Then their away game is who? Peru. Oh, Ecuador would have to go to Peru. So I think everybody, Argentina, that's right, Argentina already qualified. What am I talking about? Of course Argentina qualified. I'm looking here at the points. I'm like, no, you're absolutely right. 34-20. That's 14 points. That's 12 left. Yeah, that's right. Apologies, folks. Apologies. Argentina's already qualified. So I think which is why they were surprised that Messi was even called to the squad. Probably Messi is going to play that game against Colombia because it's going to be like their home game celebration. Oh my God, we qualified and everything. Cool. They might not even play, right? They might just bring him along because he just wants to go back home for a bit. Cool, right? So with Argentina already qualified, that game against Chile doesn't really matter. But that game against Colombia does matter. So Argentina can either play spoilers and really kind of make Colombia's World Cup journey a little bit hazardous, or, you go from there. But Stefan, thank you so much. I totally totally oversaw that, yes, Argentina did qualify. Duh. Messi will not play. That's what I assume. Messi will not play because, like, what's the point, right? Because he's got to be there with the Club World Cup. But he did get called up for the national team. So that's why it's a little bit interesting why he's even going in the first place. Okay, Argentina's out the way. So basically, for any of the CONMEBOL teams to qualify this round, okay, for any of the teams to qualify in this round, they need to win their 2 games. Ecuador need to win their 2 games. Basically the team, if they want to qualify this round, they need to win their 2 games. Now, would everyone be cheering for a Venezuela and Bolivia tie on Friday? Yes. Si Venezuela y Bolivia empatan ese partido, okay, then it will be 16-15. Colombia beats Peru. They'll be ahead by 7 points from Venezuela with 9 points left, and then Colombia in the 2 games to be in. 6 points guarantees you. Okay, 3 points will probably guarantee you not being eliminated this round, but the 6 will get you in for next summer. So yeah, Peru and Chile definitely need a miracle to qualify. Peru and Chile definitely need a miracle to qualify. That is absolutely correct. Okay. They would need to run the table, and the maximum points that they can reach is 22 points each. And Venezuela and Bolivia are already at 15 and 14. So you also need to hope that those 2 teams collapse. There's no way Colombia can't win this round. Squad is really packed in their position. I agree. Lucho Diaz is out for a yellow card accumulation, but they should be able to take care of business of Peru. Like, Colombia has two of the easiest home games of anyone's stretch. Home to Peru, home to Bolivia. That's number 8, number 9 on the table. Like, Colombia cannot mess this up, to say the least. Okay? So, yeah. Okay. Who's winning Gold Cup, in your opinion? Don't really care for the Gold Cup too much, to be honest. Don't really care about it. I mean, Mexico's probably in just because the U.S. has decided to, bum out of it. So, yeah. Do I think the Sounders are going to make it out of the group stage? Yes, I do. Okay, and folks, if you have questions, let's just go ahead and drop questions and just talk here in the meantime as well. But yeah, basically, match day 15, match day 16, any of these teams need to win out in order to be able to qualify. Argentina's already in. Sorry, I totally blanked out that Argentina was already in. I just wait a minute. Argentina has the points. But yeah, totally blanked out there. But yeah, Argentina has the points. They're already in. So yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But drop your other questions. Yes, I did see about Carlos Espinosa made a post about possible rates at Copa Oro. I'm not going to add to the fear-mongering in that respect, okay? I understand how important it is to keep our community informed and updated on anything with Yellow FC, okay? I totally understand that, all right? I called out the post from Claro Sports because, again, I live in D.C., I hadn't heard through the grapevines that there was going to be those types of activities happening at the sports games. B, it definitely does not make any business sense. Granted, none of this makes business sense overall, but it does not make business sense to be raiding these games when that's the fan base. The owners would be pissed off. You would have complete loss of public safety and public trust. It would just be a nightmare scenario, okay? So unless Mr. Espinosa has information that was given to him about any operation that is on the table for potential raids by Yellow FC during the Gold Cup at these stadiums, I respectfully would not be telling people there might be ice raids, because that is only adding to the fear, that is only adding to the complications that our community currently exists in, okay? Trust me, if I would have heard of something, I would be telling y'all. But something concrete, okay? Something concrete, I would be sharing that with y'all. But as of right now, okay, there is no credible information that I have heard from my place here that would indicate that Yellow FC, Yellow FC are conducting against fans during the Gold Cup. Or for that matter, during the Club World Cup. Or for that matter, for the World Cup. I don't have that credible information. But best believe, I will let the community know this for their safety. But until then, until I'm not given a piece of paper that shows, hey, this is Yellow FC's plan to deport people from soccer stadiums, I'm not going to be telling people there might be there. Of course, exercise caution. Pay attention to your surroundings. If you see any people acting all hella sketch, masked up, they don't have nothing, no official badges, none of that stuff, take pictures if you can, take video if you can, post that thing up on social media, let the community know, okay? Let the community know. But I am not going to say, hey, that it might happen. I'm not. Until I receive credible information in front of me. Okay? That's really all I want to say about that. I don't know if he's doing it for the clout or for the likes or whatever, but unless he has info, he hasn't really wanted to share info with me. He's really not, we haven't really worked together. There's, potential been opportunities to work together, but he's not really pursued it. So I'm not going to go ahead and try to pursue his coattails in any way, shape, or form. That's his content. I'm going to let it be. All right? But yeah. Okay. Just wanted to quickly address that. All right. What are my thoughts on the Canada men's team? I think they're better than the U.S. right now. I mean, the U.S. right now, you got a bunch of players that are bunch of players that do not respect the jersey, that do not respect the badge, and they think that the CONCACAF opponents are inferior to them. Well, you know what? Y'all can go and stay in Europe. Pochettino, you're gonna have to come up with a new 23 because that squad ain't gonna get the job done in 26. It's as simple as that. When will the group stage draw be if the last two playoff spots are in March? Well, the spots will be drawn in December, and that will be that. It will be drawn in December. Okay. ¿Cómo crees que van a manejar la situación de países que califican al Mundial pero que no son bienvenidos? Pues ya eso es tarea para Infantino. Ya eso sí es tarea para Infantino porque solamente hay una posición en un grupo en este Mundial que dejaría, digamos, a Irán estar posiblemente poder meterse en este Mundial sin problema de los Estados Unidos. Sería en el grupo A, en la posición 3. Porque entonces todos los partidos serían México. Pero de resto, todos los grupos están combinados entre México y Estados Unidos o Canadá y Estados Unidos. Entonces no hay manera de cómo dividir estos grupos. Porque no hay grupos solamente en Canadá. No hay grupos solamente en México. Menos esa posición de la A3. Entonces, ya asustaré. O sea, si Infantino no se dio cuenta que este man posiblemente podía ganar la presidencia de nuevo y no hizo lo que tenía que hacer para organizar las regiones, para organizar los grupos de una manera que le daba un poco de flexibilidad en ese asunto, pues ya eso es culpa de ese man. Ya él la cagó en ese sentido. Are the rumors true that FIFA might make it only in Mexico Canada World Cup? I've not heard anything official from my sources, folks. That's why. So Group A could be Mexico, Iran. Yeah, it could be. It could be Mexico, Iran. Again, if Taco Man decides to not allow Iran in and be bitchy about it, could easily be Iran in Group A with Mexico. And if Iran makes it to the next round, all bets are off, fam. Iran would have to win the group in order to stay in Mexico, or else they're going to LA if they finish second. So all bets are off at that point. Mexico is playing the first game. Is there a chance Iran plays in Canada? I mean, I've not heard anything from the Canadian government not allowing them to play. But then again, if they play in Canada, some of those games are going to be played in the U.S. too because there's not a Canada-only group. So we're still dealing with the first problem. But going back to this rumors about FIFA making it Mexico, Canada, I have not heard any concrete rumors. I've not heard any credible information from my sources that would indicate that. I've not heard anything, okay? And even if I had heard some information, they probably would have told me to embargo it, meaning that they would ask me for the sake of maintaining the relationship, not to share that information. But I've not been told anything about Mets. I've seen some of the social media posts. I've not heard any credible information. I think you would know if that is a possibility if Taco Man starts posting on his Truth Social bullshit that the U.S. might lose the World Cup. That's the way that you would know that those rumors might have some truth to it. Funny, ironically enough. If Cheeto Man starts posting, oh, well, that's not fair, Infantino can't remove the World Cup from the U.S. If he does that, there might be some truth to that. But for now, no. No truth right now that FIFA wants to take out the World Cup from the U.S. I'm on the record saying I don't think it's going to happen because, again, of the money. There's just way too much money tied up to this. And Trump will, I can easily see Trump. I call it first name, whatever. I can see him saying like, all right, we'll hold off on the raids. We'll hold off on all that other stuff. We'll hold off on it for the 6 weeks of the tournament. Whatever, fine. Y'all can do that, and that's that. That's how I would see it. All right. Okay, folks on YouTube, make sure if you want to go ahead and drop a dono right there. That's the target on the top right of the chat. You can go ahead and drop any donation you like, any amount. Remember, I am going to Barranquilla this week, so thank you to Absolute Sport for that, for hosting me for this important and historic moment in my life. I mean, it'll be the first time I watch La Sele in Colombia, so that's going to be a really, really nice opportunity. So again, thank you to Absolute Sport. If you're interested in their if you're interested in their sports travel packages for next summer, go ahead, drop me a DM, either on IG or TikTok, and we can share information about Absolute Sports travel packages for next summer. Again, they're not just la boleta; they are travel packages, right? They include the ticket, but they also include the hotel, game day transit, breakfast, etc., etc. So go ahead and drop me a DM afterwards for that as well. And make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the like button. Make sure you comment. Comment and let me know if you have some recommendations for Barranquilla, or let me know who you were cheering for this past weekend with the PSG, Inter Miami, Cruz Azul, because Cruz Azul demolished Vancouver. Let me know in the comments. That way, again, this video can go ahead and be shared to others. So yeah. So get the packages or wait for the single tickets. Again, folks, we don't even have information about the single tickets. There's only hospitality, and then there's the packages by Absolute Sport. So you're just going to have to keep doing your shopping around. I personally would not hold my breath on the single tickets because, again, of the potential threat of dynamic pricing. On the screen right here, YouTube, you're watching the remaining packs of that City Surprise Glory Pack. Remember, this was the one that I was criticizing a lot, the Guadalajara pack, because it's almost $1,700. It gets you an RTB to 2 tickets for the World Cup group stage match in that city, because remember, Guadalajara's only hosting 4 group stage matches, so that's that. And then you get 2 Category 2 tickets to a random FIFA Club World Cup match. Again, not really worth it for that amount of money. I really do think that it's absolutely ridiculous and asinine that they'd be asking people to drop that amount of money just to be in front of the line. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous, to say the least. So, yeah. All right. Other questions, folks. I'm happy to end the live a little bit shorter today, just because I got some other things to do. I got laundry. I got house chores to take care of. I gotta organize my home before I head off to Colombia to watch Colombia, Peru, hopefully take a massive, giant step forward in their World Cup qualification. Do you think more group stage tickets will be releasing for the Club World Cup? I have not heard anything about it. I think there's plenty of tickets right now as it is. Ahorita mismo, ¿qué porcentaje piensas que se convierte en dynamic pricing? 50%. Yo creo que una posibilidad real. Posiblemente FIFA dio esa noticia, como decirlo aquí en inglés, they leaked the story, ¿no? Se lo dieron a alguien para que lo cuente a todos, para ver cómo se sentía el público. Y pues el público obviamente respaldó con una respuesta bien anti-FIFA en ese sentido. Entonces ojalá que si esa es así la jugada que hicieron, pues que FIFA entiende que pues la gente no va a estar, no le va a meterle cuento a ese asunto del dynamic pricing. Ojalá. Do you think the first ticket sold will be ticket packages still, even if they're doing dynamic pricing? Which is the other interesting part of all this, right? if they're going to do packages, then how the hell is the dynamic pricing going to work? Like, they have not clarified on that assumption. Although, of course, what they could do is, right, just also like you said, you Dub Knight, is that they would sell an X number of packages, stop, and then increase the price after they see the increase, they see the demand, and then they'll just increase the price right afterwards. So, yeah. No. Imagínate. Una vaina tremendo. We genuinely, again, folks, we're not going to have any information on World Cup tickets until after the Club World Cup. Gianni basically he's focused on the Club World Cup, fam. He's so hyper-focused on the Club World Cup that, we're not going to get any information on the World Cup. Now, remember, folks, there's, again, plenty of tickets still left. Okay? Okay. There's still plenty of tickets left for the Club World Cup, as he wanted y'all to tell, or wanted y'all to know. And then again, LAFC, congratulations on being the last team to enter the Club World Cup. You enter this tournament, but none of your games are going to be at home. It is just the most unserious tournament that we've ever seen. So unserious, man. Absolute insanity, to say the least. All right. Drop your final questions. Drop your final donos. TikTok, I'll see you later. Thank you for the chat. But YouTube, if we want a little bit more intimate time, go ahead, drop your final questions, drop your final comments, and then we'll go ahead and end the live at that point. Let me know. That's it. Final questions, folks. Final questions before I end the live. Let me know. How about this? Folks, I got a job interview. I did not think this was going to happen. I've stopped applying to jobs a long while back. Because honestly, there was no one was sending emails back. It's all been like, when did I apply to this position? I'm not gonna say it, of course, just in case they're watching, but this is hilarious, man. Yo, your boy finally got an interview, but it's probably gonna take another 6 months for it to be completed. Oh man! All right, let me end the live. I gotta end this live because now I gotta reply to this. I might be able to get some money to go to the World Cup after all. Woo! This is absolutely mental, man. Oh shit! Oh no, I can't do June 10 though. Man, I'm in Monterrey. Damn it! There goes the dream, folks. All right, final question: do you think you will get hospitality after meeting with them? If I get hired, if I get hired for this job, sure, we'll go with hospitality. But no, I think at least at the moment, I don't think so. I mean, those prices are still expensive, man. Shit, they're still hella expensive. So yeah. Yeah. All right, folks. Okay, let's go ahead and end the live now. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. All right, really appreciate y'all once more. Okay, again, I want to thank Absolute Sport for hosting me this Friday. Well, I should say, for this Friday, for this game, para ver Colombia jugarle contra Peru eliminatorias. So again, if you're interested in those sports travel packages for next summer, go ahead, shoot me a DM, TikTok or Instagram, or by email in order to receive more information about those travel packages by Absolute Sports. So again, I want to thank them for hosting me for this really historic event, because if Colombia wins that game, it's gonna be a massive step forward in our World Cup journey for next summer. So really appreciate that. But yeah, apart from that, thank you so much for tuning in today, folks. Really appreciate it. Probably the next time you're gonna see me live, it's gonna be in Barranquilla. Ahí nos vemos. Dale, mi gente, vamos Colombia.